Hello and welcome back to the Deep Dive. I'm your host. Really great to have you with us again as we explore another really relevant topic.
Greetings, everyone. Yes, definitely looking forward to unpacking this one today.
And hey, if you're enjoying these conversations, if you get something out of them, we genuinely appreciate it if you could maybe take a second to like and subscribe.
Absolutely. That support, it really does make a difference and helps us keep these deep dives going.
It really does. Okay, so let's get right into it. Today, we're tackling something many people grapple with. Why is it that diets so often seem to fail, even with the best intentions?
It's a huge question, isn't it? And to really get under the surface, we're going to be leaning on an article from Eurocare. It's titled Understanding Obesity, Why Diets Often Fail.
Exactly. And just to be clear, we're not here to, sell you on the next diet craze or offer some kind of magic bullet.
No, not at all.
Our mission today is, deeper. We want to try and pull out the core reasons why these eating plans, these diets, often just don't stick in the long run.
Looking beyond the sort of surface level advice, right?
Yeah.
Trying to understand the complexity.
Precisely. So the article kicks off by mentioning something I think almost anyone who's tried to lose weight knows intimately, that cycle. You lose some weight, then gain it back, sometimes more. What does Eurocare see as a key reason for this?
Well, a really critical point the article makes is that many popular diets are just fundamentally too restrictive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they often involve cutting out huge food groups or, slashing calories so drastically. It works initially, maybe.
Right, you see results at first.
But sustaining that over months or years, it's incredibly difficult for most people.
It sounds a bit like trying to hold your breath underwater, like the article mentions. You could do it for a bit, but eventually.
Yeah, exactly. Eventually, that biological urge, the need to breathe, just takes over. It's the same sort of overwhelming deprivation these diets can create. It's just not wired for our day-to-day lives.
That makes sense. Unsustainable.
And that unsustainability then feeds directly into the next major factor, our own body's response physiologically.
Okay.
When we cut back that drastically on food, our metabolism actually starts to slow down.
Right. This is fascinating because it's not just about willpower, is it?
Not at all.
Our bodies have these built-in survival modes. The article uses that analogy of a car trying to conserve fuel when it's low.
Mm-hmm. A good one.
So our body does something similar. It starts holding on to fat reserves more tightly, making it harder to lose more weight. It's like our biology is putting the brakes on.
Precisely. It's saying, whoa, famine alert, conserve energy. And this mechanism, which was, essential for our ancestors' survival, becomes a real roadblock when we're trying to lose weight in a world where food isn't actually scarce for many of us.
So our ancient biology is sort of working against our modern goals.
In a way, yes. And the article also touches on how hormones get involved, the ones controlling hunger and fullness. They can shift, making you feel hungrier, less satisfied.
Which makes sticking to the diet even harder.
Wow, okay. And then the focus shifts a bit, doesn't it? Towards something less biological, more emotional.
Yes, the emotional connection to eating. This is huge. Diets tend to focus purely on the foods, the calories, the macros.
Oh, but they ignore the why.
Exactly. Why are we eating in the first place? Often it's tied up with stress, sadness, boredom, even celebrating.
Comfort food is called that for a reason, right?
Absolutely. Reaching for that snack after a hard day.
Right.
Is it physical hunger? Or is it seeking a bit of emotional comfort? Diets that ignore this, as the article says, are like just putting a lid on a boiling pot.
The pressure's still building underneath.
Right. Those emotional triggers are still there, and they'll likely find an outlet, often through eating, eventually undermining the diet. So you could be tracking everything perfectly, but if stress eating is your default coping mechanism, the diet itself isn't solving that core issue. You're just treating the symptom, not the cause.
Well put. And then there's the final piece Eurocare highlights: mindset, how we think about the diet.
Ah, okay. What do they mean by that?
Many people see a diet as, a temporary thing, a project with a start date and, crucially, an end date.
Like, I'll do this for 8 weeks, then I can go back to normal.
Exactly. And as we've sort of discussed, that almost guarantees the weight comes back, doesn't it? The article compares it to tidying a messy room just for visitors.
And then letting it get messy again once they leave.
Right. Once the diet is over, those old habits creep back in. So the shift needs to be away from this short-term fix mentality towards a sustainable lifestyle change, something ongoing.
Seeing it as a permanent adjustment, not just a temporary restriction.
That's the key for lasting results, according to the article, which naturally leads to the question, when does someone know if maybe diet and exercise just aren't enough on their own?
Yeah, that's a really important point. When might more be needed? The article gives some pretty clear signs.
Okay, like what?
Well, first, if you're genuinely putting in the effort, right? You're eating reasonably well, you're active, but nothing's changing on the scale week after week.
That must be incredibly frustrating.
Totally. And demoralizing.
Okay, what else?
Another flag is potential underlying hormonal issues. Things like, sudden weight gain you can't explain, feeling tired all the time, maybe irregular periods for women. That could signal something hormonal that needs checking out.
A medical evaluation might be needed there.
And it's not just about the weight itself. The article also points out if someone's already dealing with health problems linked to obesity, like type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, sleep apnea.
Right. Then it becomes more complex. Managing the weight is tied into managing those conditions.
Exactly. And that often requires more comprehensive, maybe medically supervised support.
That makes sense. Anything else?
Yes, medications. It's something easily overlooked. Some common medications for various conditions can actually cause weight gain as a side effect.
Making the uphill battle even steeper.
Definitely. So, if you suspect that might be happening, the advice is clear. Talk to your doctor. Don't just stop taking meds, obviously, but see if there are alternatives or adjustments possible.
Good advice. Crucial, even.
And finally, it loops back to the psychological side. Deep-seated emotional eating patterns, maybe binge eating tendencies, or what some might term food addiction.
These psychological barriers can be really powerful obstacles.
Yeah. And they often need more than just a diet plan, maybe therapy, counseling, some kind of specialized support to address those root causes.
So putting it all together, what this Your Care article really emphasizes is that obesity, weight management, it's complicated.
Much more than just eat less, move more.
Absolutely. There's this whole web of biology, emotions, environment, even medications, all playing a role.
It really forces you to take a more holistic view, doesn't it?
It does. Moving beyond those simple, often overly restrictive, short-term diet approaches.
Okay, so let's try and quickly summarize the main takeaways then. Why do diets often fail?
Well, number one, they're often too restrictive, making them hard to stick with long-term.
Right. Then there's the body's reaction metabolism slowing down as a survival thing.
Yep. Plus, the failure to address the emotional reasons behind why we eat, the why.
And finally, that mindset issue, seeing it as a temporary fix instead of a lasting lifestyle change.
Exactly. And we also touched on those signs that might mean more help is needed.
Yeah, like the weight not shifting, despite real effort.
Potential hormonal problems.
Existing health issues tied to obesity.
Medications getting in the way.
Or those significant psychological factors like emotional or binge eating.
It all points to obesity being a really multifaceted challenge.
Absolutely, not just a willpower issue. And understanding these hidden hurdles is maybe the first step towards finding a better, more sustainable path for managing weight and health.
Well said. And perhaps, as a final thought for everyone listening, knowing all this, knowing the complexities beyond just food rules, how might that change the way you think about your own relationship with food, exercise, and well-being? Considering not just the physical, but also that deep emotional and psychological connection we all have with eating, something to maybe mull over?